ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदामायं ददाति स्वापदन्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथं वन्दितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च excuse me. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhevyacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nasa Preshu Abhadeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamastoke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki.
Hare Krishna, that was so beautifully sung. Thank you so much, Mataji. You have such a sweet voice. Okay, so Mataji is going to be joining soon, but she has asked us to start reading, and the purports are very long, so we can start reading. So thank you very much, devotees, for joining in. We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is the cause of all causes. And yesterday we just covered one verse, that was 20. So for today we had 22, 23, but we can start with 21. So would anybody like to read the text, translation and purport? Purport is long, so two can share.
Hare Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, please can I accept my humble obeisances, or Gaudiya Srila Prabhupada? I can try, Mataji?
Yes, sure.
So we are reading Canto 2, Chapter 5, text 21. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswati vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavate sevaya bhagavatyotam slokir bhaktir bhavati naishtikhi mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, text 21. Kalam karma swabhavam cha mahesho mayaya swaya atma yadrikchaya praptam vibhu bhushurupadade. So we do word to word or we do just translation?
We can do word to word, Mataji.
Okay. Word to word, a synonym. Kalam, eternal time. Karma, the fate of the living entity. You want to repeat Mataji?
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji.
Okay, restart again. Okay. Kalam, eternal time.
Kalam, eternal time.
Karma, the fate of the living entity.
Karma, the fate of the living entity.
Swabhavam, nature.
Swabhavam, nature.
Cha, also.
Cha, also.
Maya, potency.
Maya, potency.
Ishaha, the controller.
Ishaha, the controller.
Mayaya, by the energy.
Mayaya, by the energy.
Swaya, of his own.
Swaya, of his own.
Atman, Atmani, unto his self.
Atman, Atmani, unto his self.
Yadrikchaya, independently.
Yadrichaya, independently.
Praptam, being merged in.
Praptam, being merged in.
Vibhu bhushuhu, appearing differently.
Vibhu bhushuhu, appearing differently.
Upadade, accepted for being created again.
Upadade, accepted for being created again.
Again. Yes. Translation. The Lord, who is a controller of all energies, thus creates by his own potency eternal time, the fate of all living entities and their particular nature, for which they were created, and he again merges them independently. Purport. The creation of the material world, wherein the conditioned souls are allowed to act subordinately by the Supreme Lord, takes place again and again, after being repeatedly annihilated. The material creation is something like a cloud in the unlimited sky. The real sky is a spiritual sky, eternally filled with the rays of the Brahma Jyoti, and a portion of this unlimited sky is covered by the Mahatattva cloud of the material creation, in which the conditioned souls who want to load it against the Lord, against the will of the Lord, are put into play as they desire, under the control of the Lord by the agency of his external energy. As the rainy season appears and disappears regularly, the creation takes place and is again annihilated under the control of the Lord, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 8.19. So the creation and annihilation of the material worlds is a regular action of the Lord, just to allow the conditioned souls to play as they like, and thereby create their own fate of being differently created again in terms of their independent desires at the time of annihilation. The creation, therefore, takes place at a historical date, as we are accustomed to think of everything which has a beginning in our own tiny experience. The process of creation and annihilation is called anadi, or without reference to date regarding the time the creation first took place, because the duration of even a partial creation is 8,640,000,000 years. The law of creation is, however, as mentioned in the Vedic literatures, that it is created at certain intervals and is again annihilated by the will of the Lord. The whole material, or even the spiritual creation, is a manifestation of the energy of the Lord, just as the light and the heat of a fire are different manifestation of the fire's energy. The Lord, therefore, exists in his impersonal form by such expansion of energy and the complete creation rests on his impersonal future. Nonetheless, he keeps himself distinct from such creation as a Puram or as a Purnam or complete. And so, no one should wrongly think that his personal feature is not existent due to his impersonal unlimited expansions. The impersonal expansion is a manifestation of his energy, and he is always in his personal future, despite his innumerable unlimited expansions of impersonal energies. Bhagavad Gita 9.5 to 7. For human intelligence, it is very difficult to conceive how the whole creation rests on his expansion of energy. But the Lord has given a very good example in the Bhagavad Gita. It is said that although the air and the atoms rest within the huge expansion of the sky, which is like the resting reservoir of everything materially created, still the sky remains separate and unaffected. Similarly, although the Supreme Lord maintains everything created by him, by his expansion of energy, he always remains separate. This is accepted even by Sankaracharya, the great advocate of the impersonal form of the Absolute. He says, Narayanaha Paro Vyaktat, or Narayana exists separately, apart from the impersonal creative energy. The whole creation thus merges within the body of the transcendental Narayana at the time of annihilation, and the creation emanates from his body again with the same unchanging categories of fate and individual nature. The individual living entities, being part and parcels of the Lord, are sometimes described as Atma, qualitatively one in spiritual constitution. But because such living entities are apt to be attracted to the material creation, actively and subjectively, they are therefore different from the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading the text and reciting the verse. Hare Krishna, Radhika Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept our humble obeisances on behalf of all who have joined the group and are about to join. Mataji, are you able to hear us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for making yourself available on this Monday morning over there. Please accept our Danvat Pranams on behalf of everybody from this group. Mataji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 5, The Cause of All Causes, and we have just read text 21. So over to you, Mataji. I know today's text is 22 and 23 with you, but yesterday we couldn't finish 21, so we read that. So Hare Krishna, over to you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Well, let's get started, dear devotees. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashlaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashrayata Deshatarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Narayanam Namaskrityam, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayam Udirayet, Srinuvata Swakata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtanaha, Hridayantasto Hiyapatrani, Vidunoti Sugritsatam, Ashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttamasloke, Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's call of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are looking into Canto 2 and Chapter 5. As you all understand, we've been going through this for quite some time now. And we understand there is a discussion that is going on between Narada Muni and Brahma. And that is what we are kind of discussing through, and I want to probably go over this a little bit, and then we will get into today's verse. as you can see, from the 21st verse onwards, it's going to be creation of the universe. So second canto, 5th chapter, 21st to 35 is going to talk about creation of the universe, how the creation is happening. So I'm thinking we can tackle this in the next class, because there needs to be continuity of uh, of how the creation of the universe is taking place. So this is a very, very important a thing, because understanding creation is a little bit technical, and I want to devote an entire class for for that purpose. So I'm thinking 21st to 35 can be tackled next week, in next week's class, and then 32 to 35 is Karya Shishti. So we will take the parts and probably do it all together. And 36 to 42 is nothing but descriptions of Virat Rup. That should be easy. So we just have to focus on the creation, and then Karana Shrishti and Karya Shrishti. So as long as we are clear with that, then description of Virat Rup also will be easy. So this is what we will do, dear devotees, in terms of how we would take it forward. We can take it forward. All these are nothing but, so when we look at creation of universe, why is it spoken here? It is spoken here because this was one of the, so as you all can understand, there were 6 questions by Narada Muni about this universe. What are the 6 questions? So first, he's telling Brahmaji, see, please tell me the transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the super soul, right? And then he poses the 6 questions. The 6 questions are, what is the characteristic of the universe? What is its shelter? How is it created? How is it conserved? That is, in what it merges at destruction. That is what how is it conserved means. That's the 4th question. The first question is, what is the characteristics of the universe? The second is, what is its shelter? Yet adhishthanam. And then yet shrishtam. How is it created? What is the process of creation? So this was the 3rd question. And in response to the 3rd question, we have the answer that is being clarified in the verse 21 to 31, Karana Shrishti. That is why it is being talked about, dear devotees. So when it comes to correlation of why what is being talked about, it is because of the questions that is posed by Narada Muni, we are able to see answers in response to the same. Now, then the 5th question and the 4th question, yet samstam. How, in what it merges after destruction, at destruction. So that will be answered in the 6th canto. I mean, not 6th canto, 6th chapter, 2nd canto, 6th chapter, 39th verse, that will be answered. As far as the first question, where is it answered? It is answered in the 14th verse. As far as second question, it is answered in 15 and 16 verses of the same chapter. And then it will also be answered in the 31st verse of the next chapter. And then when it comes to Yet Shrishtam, how is it created? Process of creation. As I told you, that will be tackled from verse number 21, 35. And how is it conserved? That is being spoken about in the 6th chapter, 39th verse. How is it conserved? That means in what it merges at destruction. Yet Pramam, what it depends on. And yet share, what is it composed of? What are the ingredients? What are the ingredients? That is being spoken about in the 6th chapter as well, 1 to 16 and 23 to 30. So that's why we should understand that for some of them, we have the answers here in the 5th chapter, and for some of them, we have the answers mostly in the 6th chapter. So there is going to be continuity, and you should not be like, why is it coming? Because there is a question posed, we have an answer. Hope you are clear with this, because this is very, very important. Why we have certain sections, why we have answers, say, for example, on creation or what happens at destruction. All this, why it comes, is because of the questions posed by Narada Muni. Hope you are clear with this, dear devotees. Now, when it comes to convictions of Narada about Brahma, see, we understood from last class, Narada Muni is making some convictions, right, about Brahmaji. And we were thinking, oh, where is it going and what is it leading to? So we will go through that now. See, Narada is telling Brahmaji, his father, he's telling, you know everything about creation because everything you created in the past, present, and future is within your grip like a walnut. This is what he says. See, you know everything about creation because you created everything in the past, present, and the future. So the first point he says about Brahmaji is that you know everything. Second thing he clarifies is you are independent. I think you are the independent Supreme Lord. Ekaha. This is how he is having another conviction about Brahmaji. And then he says, you know, Brahmaji, you're self-sufficient. How are you self-sufficient? You create by your energy, just like a spider. We saw the example of a spider, right? Last class, you remember? So you create by your energy, Atma Shaktim. Just like a spider creates a cobweb without anybody's help, you also create this universe, Brahmaji. That is how I can say you're self-sufficient. See, you don't need anybody's help. Self-sufficient means what? I don't need anything I don't have to ask anybody to help me out. I can manage it myself. So that way, you do it all by yourself. You're self-sufficient. I know no other source of creation, superior, inferior, or medium, but you, he says. So now, I do have some questions. Can you clarify my doubts about you? Why do you perform such austerity? Why do you perform such austerity? Is there someone more powerful than you? Can you please clarify that to me? See, first he spoke about the convictions about Brahmaji by saying, oh, you know everything. You are independent. You are self-sufficient. And you have no other source. All this he mentioned. And then what is he saying? I'm having some doubts about you. What are my doubts? Can you please clarify? Why are you performing so much austerity, Brahmaji? So why would somebody perform austerity if someone is superior? 1 minute, dear devotees. So, is someone more powerful than you? Can you please clarify? Like that, Narad Muni is asking about Brahmaji. Okay. And then Brahmaji is now going to clarify Narad Muni's doubt and destroys his convictions. So this is what is the response given by whom? Brahmaji to Narada. Oh Narada, being merciful to me, you have asked these questions. Because of your inspiration, I am able to meditate on Lord's prowess. And then now he's going to reveal what is going on. I mean, as far as Narad Muni's doubts, he's going to destroy his doubts and he's going to say, oh, these convictions about me, those are all not right. Those are completely wrong. So he's going to give response to those by just saying, I am just a subordinate to the Supreme Lord. You know what? The Supreme Lord, he's beyond me. Unless one is aware of the position of the Supreme Lord, who's beyond me, one is sure to be illusioned by observing my powerful activities. See, this is a very, very important point here, devotees. Who is beyond me? Supreme Lord is beyond me. And unless one is aware of the position of the Supreme Lord, who is beyond me, one is sure to be illusioned by observing my powerful activities. They will think, oh, I am doing those activities of creation without anybody's help. They will completely be illusioned and bewildered if they don't know about the supremacy of the Supreme Lord, who is beyond me. Right? We all remember the instance when Brahmaji forgot how to create and who instigated him to create. Within his heart, he then was able to say tapa, tapa, and because of which he was able to do the secondary creation. All right. So we should not. So he's just telling Narada Muni, yeah, just for a person who doesn't know the Supreme Lord, he may think, yes, I'm just the supreme power. I'm the superpower. I'm behind this creation. I am the independent executor and all of that. But that is not the case. Somebody is beyond me, and that is the Supreme Lord. So this is the point he brings forward. And then he's saying, I only recreate. So creation is like something has already happened and I'm just recreating it. That's what I do. That is what is my job. You're able to understand. So he says, I manifest the universe which is already manifested by the self-manifesting Lord. Just as the sun and other luminaries reveal what is already revealed by the Lord. So it's not that you should think, oh, I am doing it. I am not the doer. It's the Lord who's doing it, and I am just manifesting things that are already created by the Lord. I just recreate, and that is what is my job. So by no means you think I am independent, Brahmaji, Narad Muni. Please don't think like that. I only recreate. So how he is destroying his convictions, you are able to understand. So first, convictions about convictions about Brahmaji was he knows everything. And now he's saying somebody is beyond me, right? And then he also said, you are independent. That was the second conviction. Narada Muni spoke about Brahmaji. And now he's saying, I only recreate. And then he's breaking that point to clarify that he is not independent. We're able to understand there is a correlation how he is able to destroy the conviction that were put forward by Narada Muni about Brahmaji is being broken one by one. Hope you are able to understand this, dear devotees. That is important. And now he says, 12th to 13th words talk about people bewildered by Maya think of me as the supreme. How he's saying, he's just saying, my obeisance is on to Lord, by whose Maya people call me as the supreme controller. Because of Lord Maya, because of it, what happens? People are bewildered. And because people are bewildered, they think of me as the supreme. This is what is going on. And that's also due to him only. His Maya is making them bewildered. And that's why he's doing what he's doing. Right? And Mamaham, in the 13th verse, he's saying, identifying with the conception of me and mine, ignorant people bewildered by Maya talk nonsense. They talk nonsense. Even Maya cannot stand in front of the Lord. She stands behind the Lord, being ashamed of her position of deceiving the people. You're able to understand, dear devotees, we've all heard this. See, identifying the conception of me and mine, ignorant persons bewildered by Maya, they talk nonsense. They don't talk what is right because they go with a conception of me and mine. Whatever they talk, it's all nonsense and that's not truth as well. Even Maya cannot stand in front of the Lord. She stands behind the Lord, being ashamed. Because what is she responsible for? She's responsible for that bewilderment. And this is a very important thing, right? I mean, when it comes to Maya, somebody who's able to overcome and understand, I'm not this body, I'm the soul, and I'm the servant of the Lord. One step further, he is able to understand his real position. And Maya is actually helping us in a way to see where we are. I'm still identifying myself in the bodily platform because I'm having this kama, krodha, mada, matsarya. So I haven't come out of this conception of me and mine. Of course, I'm still there. If I look at somebody, I'm not happy if they are doing good. That means envy is there within the heart. And that means you're still in the bodily conception. That means we have not yet become the servant of the Lord, right? So we need to always have a check. And Maya is helping us check. You know about Maya now. Still, we are in the bodily platform. We know she's doing this bewilderment to us, but still, we are just going with the flow of our mind, right? The mind says something, yes, I listen to my mind. That is where Shastra comes into play, right? How strong you are in the Shastra, how strong and learned you are, how knowledgeable you are, and how much devotion you have to the Lord will help you come out of this bodily situation, bodily conception. This is very important. For that, day in and day out, we have to start meditating, and we have to just pray to the Lord and our spiritual master to help us come out of this entanglement. Only our spiritual master can give what we don't have, because he has that and he'll be able to share it with us through his mercy. And by serving him, we will get what we want. Okay, dear devotees, it's very important that a spiritual master plays a very, very important role in a devotee's life. Without his mercy, we cannot do even to be able to speak Krishna Katha. Without his mercy, we will not. As I told you, we've talked about Sukadev Goswami's prayers, we've talked about Sutta Goswami's prayers about spiritual master, how, they all have so much regard and reverence for the spiritual master that only due to his mercy we are able to speak or do any service as far as Krishna consciousness goes. It is not our endeavor, it's their mercy that actually enables us to do what we can do. Okay, dear devotees. And then so now what Narada Muni, what Brahmaji has done is that he has established the supremacy of Lord's superior position, and thus clarified the doubts of Narada. And now he's all set to answer Brahmaji's questions. We saw there were 6 questions that were posed by Brahmaji. Now so what did he do? He first cleared off all the convictions of Brahmaji, of Narada Muni about Brahmaji. Then he established Lord's supremacy over him. And then he's coming to answer Brahmaji's questions. Narada Muni's questions about those 6 things that we talked about. Now, the answer to the first question is given in verse number 14. Verse number 14 talks about characteristics of the universe. Again, dear devotees, when it comes to the creation, we will be really diving deep by going over Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura's purport to understand and get into the deep layers. So next class is a very important class. I want to make sure that all of you all are available during next class, because I'll be covering the whole process of, at least as far as 21 to 35, I will try to cover everything in sequence for you. So if you have any questions as far as that class go, we can have a repeat class also. I don't mind doing the same thing over next week and week after that, so that you understand the creation. I know it's going to be technical, and if you're going to hear it for the first time, it will not be easy. So I'm ready to do it 2 classes also. The same thing, I can do it next week, and then week after that, I will repeat. Again, I will leave it up to you to decide how you want me to go about, as far as maybe you can decide it during the next class, how you feel. And if you're not comfortable, Mataji, I would like you to repeat it. I will go forward and repeat the same class so that you are clear as far as the technical subject matter goes. Okay? All right. And then, so now coming back to Brahmaji's response to Narada Muni about the first question. What are the characteristics of the universe? Now, we need to understand the 5 components of this universe. He says the characteristics of the universe is that there are 5 components of this universe. They are non-different from Vasudeva, and they belong, and they being his differentiated parts and parcels. Nothing but he exists, the truth. This is what is being shared here. And again, those 5 the 5 components that we are talking about are Jiva, Dravya, Kala, Karma, and Swabhava. This will also be tackled in some other chapter. What each of these components mean, this will be tackled in some other chapter, dear devotees. So we will not be going over this now, but it will come in the 6th chapter. Okay, don't worry about that. We will be talking about what those 5 components are, what is Jiva, what is Dravya, what is Kala, what is Karma, and what is Swabhava. Okay, I'm not going to get into the intricacies of it now, but we will be discussing this probably in the 6th chapter. That was the answer that Brahmaji gave to Narada Muni about his first thing. They are non-different from you. All these components, the 5 components we have, and these components are non-different from you. They are your differentiated parts, and they are Supreme Lord Vasudeva's differentiated parts and parcels. Nothing but he exists in the truth. And now, as far as answers to the second question, yet Ashtanam and yet Param, shelter and dependence on the universe. Lord Narayana is the shelter of whatever you see in this universe, and he is the one who's worth taking shelter of. So this point 15 to 16 answers partially question numbers that is Q2, that is question number 2, which is Yat Adhishthanam, what is his shelter? And then Q5, which is question number 5, Yat Param, what it depends on. But again, as I told you, this will also be answered in 2.6.32 and 2.6.31 and 32. So now we are just seeing a glimpse of it. Now, as you all can understand, what is he saying? Lord Narayana is the shelter of whatever you see in this universe that is worth taking shelter of. So this was the answer that was given by Brahmaji to Narada Muni. Now Narada might wonder, okay, Narada might even ask Brahmaji, if Narayana is everything, then what do you do? Brahma, you're saying that he's the one who's worth taking shelter of. He's the one Narayana is the shelter of whatever you see in this universe. Then what is your role? What are you supposed to do? Of course, my illusion is, I mean, you've answered, clarified my doubts by breaking my convictions about you, but I still don't understand what you do. Can you please clarify that? This is how the sequence is coming. And now, Brahmaji is going to clarify from 17th verse to 20th verse. He's going to clarify what is the difference between Brahma versus the Lord. That is Jiva Tattva versus Vishnu Tattva. This is what is going to be clarified by Brahmaji in the verses 17 to 20. So dear devotees, after this is where he's going to come to creation part. See, he's going to now clarify, okay, there is a difference between Jiva Tattva and Vishnu Tattva, and that will be talked about in verse number 17 to 20. And then after 20th verse, we will be talking about process of creation and how the creation happens. We'll be talking about primary creation, and we'll also talk about secondary creation, Karana Shishti and Karya Shishti. So this is what we will do. Like that, he's coming across. And now Brahmaji is saying in the 17th verse, see, I am also created by him, and I only create what has already been created under his supervision and under his inspiration. This is what I do. Okay. So in the 17th verse, he's clarifying, see, I am also created by that Narayana only. And whatever you see in the creation, it has already been created by Narayana. And under his supervision and under his inspiration only, everything, all the acts of this creation happens. And to support this, our process of creation will directly say how this is going to, how he is the creator, and that will be known to us when we go to the process of creation, dear devotees. How he is creating. And now I'm assuming that Brahmaji is creating. How can you say Lord is creating? That clarification will be clarified in the further verses. Okay. But now he gives him a general response to say, yes, I do. I just recreate what has already been created by the Lord. I don't do much. There's not much I do. And under his inspiration, under his guidance, under his supervision is what I do. Okay. And then he says, the 18th verse, that the transcendental Lord accepted the 3 gunas through his Maya Shakti just for the sake of creation, maintenance, and destruction. So to create, maintain, and destroy, he accepted the modes through which he does the process of creation, maintenance, and destruction. And this particular verse is being talked about in the first canto. A very, 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 very deep purport is given by our Acharya Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. Very, very, very insightful thing about the creation, maintenance, and destruction. It will take at least 3 hours for me to go through that. It's not simple. Yeah, it's just so much that he's given explanation about this. It may seem easy, yeah, creation, maintenance, he accepts the move, but how he accepts it and how he does what he does is being explained by our Acharya Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. It comes about in a very, very nice way. I will definitely take it forward whenever we have time, some other time, and go through that analysis of our Acharya to help you relish. Um, these all help us relish and understand the supremacy of the Lord. First, we have to see the creation itself. There is no sweetness. It's not like 10th canto where we see Mother Yashoda playing with Krishna or gopis just tingling Krishna and playing with them. No, we are talking about creation. Why we are talking about creation? Because as devotees, as sadhakas, we need to understand Lord's supremacy. We need to understand his greatness. When we understand the greatness, and later, as we progress in the process of devotional service, then that sweetness also will come to us. We would love to enjoy the sweet pastimes of the Lord, right? And that will automatically come to you and always linger upon your mind when you become a Raganuga devotee. You don't even have to put any effort for it. It just would automatically come to you. Anyways, that's the stage that we are aspiring for. But now, to understand Lord's greatness, we have to understand creation, how it happens, what are the intricacies. We don't have to go into the depth of technicality, but there are some important points to help us understand why Lord is the supreme there, how Lord plays the role there. All that I'll tell you so that it becomes easy for you to understand creation. And now he's saying he accepts the three gunas for what? Sake of creation, maintenance, and destruction. These gunas bind the jiva. The gunas further manifest as matter, knowledge, and activities, putting the conditioned jiva under bondage. We all know, right? At some point, we are always, not some point, we are always tied by the gunas at all points in time. I may be in sattva, rajas, and tamas, depending upon uh, the situation or day and time, right? Day and time, meaning in the morning times, usually we are sattvic. As we go, then rajas and tamas in the night, of course, we don't want to wake or stay up late in the night because tamas is so prevalent during that time. And we want to keep our body calm and quiet. That's why we go to bed early so that we are not, these modes are so, they are just with us. And to come out of the modes, we have to keep doing bhakti constantly. And when we are not engaged in bhakti, the modes take superiority over us and they dictate what we need to do, basically. So we have to be watchful of that, dear devotees, as we see. I mean, introspection is very important. In a devotee's life, why did I get angry here? This should not have been the case, right? If I'm practicing bhakti, why did I even get angry at my child? Even if he spoke before me with harsh words, why did I get angry? Why did I? You shouldn't question about the other person who's angry upon you, who speaks harsh words. But what is your reaction to him? That only matters. But what we do, this guy, na, he did something to me and I can't tolerate it. I cannot forgive him. I cannot, I'll make sure that he's not happy in his life. This is how our mind reacts. But how we should react? We should just introspect. How did I react? Did I get angry with him? Did I speak harsh words upon him? Then what is the use of you practicing bhakti? Then if we do not introspect and if we think what we do is right all the time, there is no there is no there is no opportunity for improvement. And in my life, if you personally ask me, I've I've actually gone the wrong way many times, and I have never introspected. And it was always my Prabhuji who would come to me and tell me, see, he'd tell me point blank, this is not right. What you did is not right. He would even with his kids, even with our kids, Prabhuji speaks bluntly. We wouldn't appreciate it from a hearer perspective. We don't want to hear such things, but it's been so helpful for me in my life personally because I have never introspected myself. I have never done it ever in my life. Till at least after understanding Krishna consciousness and after understanding what Shastra says, I've slowly understood there is a need for me to introspect. And before Krishna consciousness, I never used to even though Prabhuji would say something, my ego would forbid me from listening to him. It would just say, no, I'm right. I'm not at all wrong. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. That's not who I am. This is what my ego said. And I just went with my ego. That's okay. If somebody is um, struggling or somebody is not happy, I really don't care. This was my attitude, dear devotees. I have to tell this because otherwise, how will you change or I change? It's okay. I mean, we are all human beings, and I have understood life now, at least to an extent, because of Shastras. And I feel very indebted to Prabhuji for being the person, a bad cop, but in fact, it turned out to be a good cop because over time, that has helped me. And now with Shastras coming into play, it has even more helped me. This is what I would say. Don't let your ego, please. We have a very, very short life and we don't have any time to waste. Please, just don't be taken away by this ego. Don't be taken away by the mind. All these are distractors. Those are all things that we need to avoid using, but we tend to use them all the time. Please don't do that. And as far as what is right, our Shastras are right. And if somebody is pointing out to help you come out of the bodily platform, please introspect. Or you yourself can introspect. How did I react? Reaction is the way Krishna tests us. How do we react in a particular situation? Do we go and surrender to him? Do we take his shelter of his lotus feet? Do we take shelter of our spiritual master? Do we take shelter of Shastras? All these are the points that need to come when we are suffering, when we are in a very big problem, or when we are put in a situation and don't know how to act. Just go and surrender to him. He will guide you in the right direction. This is what we need to do. And that is what is being spoken about in verse number 19. It talks about the modes basically, how a jiva is entangled by the modes on and on throughout his life. But he thinks that's normal. That's not normal. Okay? And jiva cannot see the Lord because he is covered by the gunas. That is what the next verse says. And this 19th and 20th, so it first talks about how Lord accepts the gunas, but he is not stuck by the gunas. Even though he accepts it, he is not bound by it. But what happens with the jivas? The jivas, they are stuck by it and they are bound by it. And this is what happens over and over in our life. Samsara, there is bondage because of us being tied to the modes. And that is where bhakti comes into play. For us to get out of the modes, we have to have bhakti. And that is the only way for anybody to come out of the modes, right? And Jiva cannot see the Lord. Why? Because he is covered by the gunas. So with this, Brahmaji is, of course, elaborately talking about Jeev Tattva and Vishnu Tattva and how Lord, the Lord is, how the Lord is not bound by the gunas, but how the Jiva is bound by it. And even our Prabhupada's purport, it's being very, very nicely clarified. So what I'm thinking is I will maybe pause here, dear devotees, and then we can go through the creation next in the next class, if it's all okay. I know I paused it 5 minutes earlier, but I thought I'll do it because if I go into the intricacies of creation, I'm not going to go anywhere. So let me stop here and then see if you have any questions. I'll answer that and then tackle verses 21 to 35 next class. I may not be able to do 21 to 35, but at least I'll cover the Karana Shrishti, which includes Karanodaksha Vishnu, what is his role. I'll talk about Pradhan, I'll talk about Mahatattva, and then I'll talk about Ahankar also. Probably I'll cover these topics, and then as far as the senses and sense devatas go, I can go over that also. It's pretty easy. Who are the sense devatas who are responsible for for our senses. If we are able to see, it's because of sense devata, Surya, like that. We'll go through who the senses and what are the senses and who's the devata responsible for that. So these are the topics I'll be seeing in the next class. And then after that, we'll be seeing Karya Shrishti. That is, what are the 23 elements and how he expands as Virat Roop. Those two can be covered in the same class. So another 2 classes, I think we should be, another 2 to 3 classes, we should be good, dear devotees, to complete this entire chapter. And then in Purusha Sukta confirmed to 2.6, again, we'll be talking about some of the answers that Brahmaji gives to Narada Muni's questions. And here also we'll be discussing about creation a little bit. About, so this 22.5 and 2.6, little bit technical, but we'll try to make it understandable as much as possible. And 2.9 is very, very important. The Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So it's all just nectar that is going to come to us in the chapters going forward. I'm really, really looking forward. So today I couldn't cover much of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura's purport, but in the next class, if I have a little bit of time, maybe 15 minutes, I'll do Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura's purports for these verses and then start creation. That's what I'll do. Okay, dear devotees. Thank you so much for your time today. I totally appreciate it and looking forward for the future classes because it's going to be interesting. Of course, all these is interesting. But yeah, specifically to understand creation, Lord needs to give us mercy and our spiritual master has to shower us mercy very, very nicely so that we understand his supremacy to a certain extent. To whatever extent he reveals, we'll be able to understand to that extent. With this, we will conclude. Pancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa santubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnav vrind ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrind ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur and Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for putting everything in perspective today. And it's the beginning of exciting times now. I open it up for any questions. Are there any questions or comments? If there are no questions or comments, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Yes, Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Thank you so much. As usual, I really appreciate your class. So, Mataji, Kritika Mataji yesterday or the day before, she asked me a question. She was asking if in other universes, do they have 14 planetary systems just like we have in this universe? Am I correct, Mataji? That was your question, right?
Whose question? I'm so sorry.
So, Mataji, I asked a question so here we have Brahma, the four-headed Brahma in our universe, and then we have 7 higher planets and so 7 lower planets. So in other universes, there'll be different Brahmas, but do they have the same setup, like the 7 higher planets?
Yes, Mataji. So this question has been at least answered by my mentors. They said they don't have any idea of what other universes look like. So because Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't talk about it, we have no idea of. I mean, we could just maybe speculate about it, but at least they said that as my mentors, they didn't have an answer to this. I can still inquire and get back on this, Mataji. But as far as what we know in terms of universes pertaining to our earthly planet, this is what it is. But yeah, as far as other universes, how it operates, I have not heard answer to it as yet. Sorry, Mataji, but I'll certainly get back. If Path Prabhu has answer to it, please go forward, Path Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. We heard about this as the universe. There are innumerable universes, and
Yes.
there are also the Brahmas and other planets, also higher planets and the lower planet also there. But how it is like 14 planets like we have, Maybe there are more or less, we don't know, but there is a planetary systems also there. There is the, according to the degree level of the realization, the higher the Muni Rishi, the Siddhas, Jashas, there are others, and also the hellish planet also there. And also there is a Brahma also, like Mataji told, there is a 100-headed, 1,000-headed, 10,000-headed, like that. This is mentioned because this is we heard many times in the lecture, also in the scriptures also there. But this is the we got till yet that one. Brahmas are there, or the planets are there, and this is the, how it is a sequence. 7 is there, 7 is off. We don't know that one, but there is, that is the things. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So, Mataji, we will wait.
Thank you very much, Mataji. I have another question, but not pertaining to today's class, but I was just thinking of it, and I don't have, I mean, I know the answers are somewhere, but it's easier to ask than look up. So the Lord has 3 energies. One is the internal energy, then there's marginal energy, and then there is external energy. External energy is the 3 modes of material nature. So that we've understood. The other 2, that is the marginal energy and the internal energy, both are spiritual energy. That is what my understanding is. And correct me if I'm wrong. And the internal energy consists of 3. One is Aladhani Shakti. And what are the other 2, Mataji? And then kindly clarify the marginal energy as well, please.
Yeah. So, Mataji, as far as the energies go, I mean, energies meaning as far as Lord's energies go, I mean, it is internal Antaranga Shakti and Bhagiranga Shakti, right? External energy and internal energy. The internal energy, it's also known as, internal potency is also known as the spiritual energy. It's the Chit Shakti, and the external energy is the material energy or Maya Shakti. And as far as, you know, the Jiva is Tatastha. Tatastha means, you know, when it comes to the Jiva, he could either go and take shelter of Antaranga Shakti of the Lord, or he can go and take shelter of the Bhagiranga Shakti of the Lord. Okay, that is why he is called Tatastha. So he may, again, depends on his obviously the faith on the Lord. He may take shelter of either. And even devotees, if you look at, they may not be able to take shelter of the internal potency of the Lord all the time. They can take shelter of Maya based on the degree to which they have progressed. And different situations during the day will make them either surrender to internal Shakti or the external potency of the Lord. Are you able to understand, Mataji, how the living entity is Tatastha?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, and now you had another question, Mataji. I'm sorry, I missed it.
So what are the 3 internal potency? One is Alhadani Shakti, and the other 2, I couldn't remember the names.
Oh, Ladini, Samvit, and Sandhini, Mataji. Ladini, Samvit, and Sandhini.
And something.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
So
Mataji.
those are the 3, yeah.
Thank you
Those
for
are
that
the 3.
clarification.
Sure.
And if you still have 2 minutes, Mataji, we have just changed the format. We have today Pramila Mataji, who will just summarize what was said today in today's session. So I would request Pramila Mataji kindly unmute and kindly summarize what Mataji said. And Mataji, I know it's Monday morning. If you have to go, you can go, but we'll just summarize the session for today.
Oh, okay. I love to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Pramila Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and time with us. We greatly appreciate it. I certainly don't feel I can do justice to this power pack discourse that you have given us. It's really so. Please forgive my mistakes. Some of the points I picked up was that this discussion was going on between Narad Muni and Brahmaji. And the questions that were asked was about the creation of the universe, the characteristics, the shelter, how was it created, what emerges after destruction, how is it conserved, and what is it composed of. So Narad Muni was really a little bit baffled. And he is asking Brahmaji, well, you know everything about this creation because you created it. Everything in the past and the future, you know. So Narad Muni said, I think you created by your energy. So you don't need anybody's help. You are self-sufficient. Can you clarify my doubts about you? Why are you performing such austerities? Is there someone more powerful than you? And Brahmaji then clarifies to Narad Muni. Brahma is going to explain about the Supreme Lord who is beyond him. So if one is not aware of the Supreme Lord who is beyond Brahmaji, then that person is illusion. And he thinks that Brahmaji is the supreme power. So Brahmaji explains, I manifest the universe, which is already created by the Lord. I just recreate it. And Brahmaji says, because of the Lord's Maya, people are bewildered and people talk nonsense as me and mine. Maya stands behind the Lord. So we are still in the bodily platform because Maya bewilders us. And our devotion to the Lord and our spiritual master will help us get out of this bewilderment. So we must respect and serve our spiritual master as we need his mercy. So Brahmaji clarifies his position and then answers Narad Muni's question. As to what are the characteristics of the universe and the five components as Jiva, Kala, Subhava, and sorry, I missed out on some of the others. So Narad Muni asks Brahmaji, what is your role? What do you do? Please clarify. And Brahmaji says, I have been created by the Supreme, and whatever you see in creation is already created by Narayana. I just recreate what the Lord has already done by his supervision. So the Lord accepted the modes of creation. And we need to understand the Lord's supremacy and greatness. So we are in the modes and we have to be watchful of this, the three modes of sattvic, rajas, and tamas, and how it affects us. We need to introspect our reactions to the modes. We have to avoid our ego. We need to surrender to the Lord. The Lord accepted the modes, but he is not bound by it. So bhakti will help us get out of it. Please forgive me, Mataji. That is what I can pick up, and I hope I haven't made too many errors.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful job, Pramila Mataji. I really loved the summary very, very, very much. You took each and every point, whatever I said in the class. I'm so grateful. I have to go down to your lotus feet, Mataji. Thank you so much for enlightening us with this beautiful summary. I like this addition a lot. It's wonderful. I really love it. Thank you, Mataji, for incorporating this summary into our schedule and making it so lively. Pramila Mataji, this is the first time I'm hearing from you. You covered each and every point that I mentioned, and I'm so grateful for your attentive listening. I feel so inspired now. Really, thank you so much.
You're very, very kind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Pramila Mataji, and thank you, Mataji. I was thinking when you were explaining about Brahmaji that he's just copy pasting, that it's already been created, and how we take things, especially me when I prepare for my lectures, I copy paste. So maybe Brahmaji is saying the same thing, that it's already there. Narayan has created, but I'm just copy and pasting it. Anyway, that's just the way I'll remember things. So I'll request Path Prabhu. Path Prabhu, kindly please end the session for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Radhika, Kasturi Mataji, also Pramila Mataji, giving nice analogy and nice summaries. Thanks very much. Also, I thanks all the devotees who are assembling in this forum. I request everyone, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of Hare Krishna, Radhika, Kasturi Mataji. Please join.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare.
Vancha
Vanchakal
Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Radhika, Kasturi Mataji ki jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. See you all next week.
Hare Krishna.
Next
Next
week's class,
Tuesday.
Mataji. Yes, next
It's
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hare
Lakshmi,
Krishna.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hare
Thank you
Lakshmi
so
Krishna.
much,
Mataji, for joining.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mataji.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, you are going back to work or? Okay. Hare Krishna. Stop the recording.